Sylvester just completed a 25 show run of Mahalia Jackson, a gospel musical where I was the lead. I played the role of Mahalia Jackson. The experience was quite taxing, but absolutely enjoyable and inspirational. I think it's something that I could take with me forever. The experiences, the networking, the people I've met, working with Raymond, it was absolutely splendid. So, yeah. Well, a friend of mine, Tristan Wallace, he messaged me on Facebook very late, some night, and he mentioned to me that there were going to be auditions for a gospel musical, and he said it might be something that I should be interested in. At the moment, I brushed it off, but then after rethinking it, I decided maybe this is something that I should get into because I haven't had much theater experience, and actually that's what shunned me away from it in the first place, because I said, who am I and where am I going? Why am I going to do this audition for this Mahalia thing? So I decided that, hey, let me try it. So I went out to the website, I looked up all the information, got the music, started learning it, downloaded the script, started reading it, and persuaded myself a bit more that maybe I should try out for this thing. Went down to the audition site, knew not a single person in the room. So that was the first phase in number one. After some time, a couple of people that I knew trickled in, but sitting there watching these people sing and read excerpts from the script, my heart started racing. But there was a young lady sitting next to me, and she said, "Oh, you look so calm. You look so ready for this." And I am there quaking in my chair. Anyway, I sang. I read a selection from the script, and the panel cried. Yeah. So.
And the panel was.
The panel was John Henry Smith. He was the producer for the show, Mahalia Gospel Musical. Lorraine Granderson, John Thomas, who else was there? Raymond Chukang. Yeah, that was the executive team for the show. I sang Precious Lord, Take My Hand. Yeah, and it wasn't the song that I rehearsed, you know. It when I got there, I guess I was inspired to sing that one. Well, then they didn't really give out any roles. They watched us do different things as everybody was part of the chorus, and then they started singling out people. Well, it came down to 3 persons, and what they had us do was read the Mahalia lines during rehearsals, and they would basically feel out which person would be more suitable for the role. They also had us take turns in singing the repertoire as well. And then it came to that day. This was in April. Auditions were in March, and then it was in April that they decided that they want me to be this Mahalia. So it was then that for me the real work began. I mean, because even when it came down to the 3 of us, I was still reading and trying to memorize the lines, because that was the most taxing part for me, having had no experience with lines and script and all that before. That would have been my most challenging part. The music was fine because I'm a vocalist, that's who I am. But now entering into this whole theater business, I know that was something that I had to do a lot of work on. So there I was learning these lines and all of that, and there were times when it became a bit overwhelming. There were nights that I cried. There were nights that I read my lines to my dog, to the wall. My sister probably was tired of me. Oh gosh, Gil, come read this for me now. Come, you be Mildred, I'll be Mahalia, and just going through the lines back and forth. But all in all, it was worth it. It was really worth it, because that feeling on stage, telling the story of a mammoth of a vocalist like Mahalia Jackson, telling her story, being in her shoes for 25 nights, it was absolutely worth it. Sometimes the Mahalia accent would switch on in my regular life, going out, hanging with my friends, and all of a sudden, hey girl, how you doing? It was hilarious. Some of my friends even called me Mahalia while we were out. But I guess all of that was part in practice for the actual role, and having to strengthen the ability to stay in character, keep the accent, because it was really important. Everything was a lot. I learned a lot, yes, because coming from zero to stage in under a month, he had to be some kind of genius, right? What I appreciate about him is that knowing Raymond, what I appreciated about Raymond was his knowledge of how little I knew. And even though time was really against us, he wasn't harsh. He wasn't, and the pressure was on. The pressure was on. But that didn't transfer to me at all. He was always very gentle, very polite with his directions and guidance on stage while we were rehearsing. So that made the whole process easier for me as an actor. The most memorable moment would be when Mahalia dies. And there were a lot of memorable moments, but that one, it summed up the entire play. She sits center stage and does a monologue where she reminisces on the life that she lived. From a young girl growing up in New Orleans, the blues, having to work as a child, dropping out of school, having to drop out of school so she could help her aunt Duke with the children, touring, writing, singing at Carnegie Hall, reminiscing on how far she really came from. That was the moment, those moments each night was where I really connected with the character and was able to feel what she might have felt, because it was sort of the same for me. Look at me, look at where I came from. Who am I? The whole timeline was so epic, and the way they synchronized with the life of Mahalia and mine as well, up to stage time. The tears were real. The tears were real on Precious Lord every single night, and I would have to say that was my most memorable moment on stage as Mahalia. One of my favorite songs from the show, the title is I'm Gonna Live the Life I Sing About. I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my songs. Oh, I'm gonna stand for right, always shunning the wrong. If I'm in a crowd, if I'm alone on the streets or in my home, I'm gonna live the life I sing about in my songs. I am 26 years old.
Yeah, baby.
I am. I am a soprano. I am a teacher. I teach music at Newton Girls RC School.
You sing for those girls?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice there. The community is really nice. I also teach voice privately. I give lessons also at Prestige Vocal Academy in Glencoe. And I'm a graduate of UTT, the Academy for the Performing Arts. I did an artist diploma in music performance under the tutelage of the ever wonderful Dr. Vitrell Cameron Mickens, who is recently deceased. I'm a really shy person. People say that's not the truth, but underneath all the smiles and all the fabulousness is a quiet girl who is often very shaky. But I think I do a good job at masking it. I love life. I love music. Music is my life. There is nothing else that I want to do but music. I enjoy every single day waking up and knowing that all that is expected of me is to live right and teach music. So that's what makes me happy. Love until. Yes, I am born and bred. I'm a Lavantillian. Born to two lovely parents, Lennox and Debbie Sylvester. I have 3 siblings, 3 sisters who sometimes drive me crazy. But I love my home life. I love my family. I have a couple mantras that I live by. 1, I am too blessed to be stressed. Sometimes when I find myself taking on a lot of things and becoming overwhelmed by it, I remind myself that I am way too blessed to be taking on this stress at this moment. One of my other mantras is put on your big girl panties and deal with it. I guess that's also attached to the I'm too blessed to be stressed, because sometimes, I mean, you might look at a situation and you say, this is not for me. I cannot conquer this. I cannot accomplish this. This is out of my range. And then I just tell myself, put on your big girl panties and deal with it. And it's done. So these are a couple of the things that I live by. The show is on the 18th of July at Fiesta Plaza Movie Town, Port of Spain. And it goes from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. It will be fabulous. I'm so excited, actually. After here, I'm going to rehearsal for the show, featuring some really amazing, talented people. John Thomas will be on the show, operatic tenor John Thomas, Aries Wilson, so a colleague of mine from UTT. There'll also be Carol Warner, fabulous violinist. There will be Dean Williams also, another exceptional musician. He's a guitarist, and backed by a live band. It'll be fun. Well, I'll be showcasing a lot of what people may not know about me, because I was in Mahalia gospel musical, but I also do other genres of music. I do classical music. We'll do classical at this show. You get a bit of gospel and jazz and soul music. So it'll be a good balance. This month of July seems to be very packed, but it's a lot of gigs. A lot of people probably now seeing me out of Mahalia and wondering, who is this kid? Maybe we should have her on our show. So it's a lot of that. But from here, it's moving on with new students that I've gotten, training them, and hopefully more and more shows, fundraisers, because I intend to further my studies next year. So we'll see how that goes. My OMG moment was the night that they announced who Mahalia would be. I mean, I was cool. I was okay. They said, congratulations, you've gotten the role. We look forward to working with you, etc., etc., etc. Enjoy your night. I left the room. I went out to my car. I said, well, you all, they gave me the role, because there were a couple people in the car park waiting to hear and whatnot. So, and they're like, you're so normal. And I'm like, well, yeah. I went in my car, turned the key, drove out to St. James, headed home, and all of a sudden, this is me in the car. Oh my gosh. Going crazy, stark mad. Windows down, and I am screaming out the windows to people in St. James. Oh gosh! Oh gosh! Headed home. So I would say that is my OMG moment. Absolutely crazy, but yep. I would definitely caption it OMG moment.